my top picks for August. 7 books coming up next. Keep reading. Hi, Terri Gillespie, and welcome to my August top picks. And if you have kids that are in school or getting ready to go in school, I have some great books for you, Mom, and maybe Dad, to read while the kids are in school, or you're sitting in the parking lot, or you're in the carpool or whatever. So we've got have some great books for you. So let's start with book number 1. And this is A Token of Love by Carrie Turansky. And if you've watched the show any number of years, you know that I usually always have a Carrie Turansky book in the lineup. So A Token of Love is coming out September 3rd, which is good because I'm going to be interviewing Carrie in September. She is my A2A featured author, and this is published by Bethany House, and it's in hardback, paperback, ebook, and audiobook. And this is considered fiction. What's interesting is a dual timeline, which means you have a plot that happens during contemporary times and a plot that is in historical. And she does it so well. She just really does it well. So how about learning a little bit more about Carrie? So Carrie Turansky is the award-winning author of 21 inspirational novels and novellas, and a winner of the Carroll Award, the International Digital Award, and the Holt Medallion. She loves traveling to England to research her Edwardian novels, including The Legacy of Longdale Manor, which is up for several awards, No Journey Too Far, No Ocean Too Wide, and the Edwardian Bride series. Her novels have been translated into several languages and have received star reviews from Library Journal and ChristianBook.com. All right, so here is a summary. In Victorian England, when Lillian Fremont is asked to reclaim her niece from the Foundling Hospital, she discovers the girl is missing and asks for the help of a handsome reporter to find her. 150 years later, Janelle Spencer, the new director of the Foundling Museum, works with a documentary maker to uncover the museum's secret history. And that history is a little nefarious. So it's got a little bit of mystery, suspense, and adventure. And it's dealing with an important issue for us today, and that is human trafficking. So, yeah, it happened back then in the 1800s. No different. Okay, let's read the first paragraph. 1885, London. Lillian Grace Fremont took up her pen and let her thoughts flow onto the paper. We must give women more opportunities through education and employment to lift themselves from poverty and shame to positions of respectability and honor, not only for their own sakes, but for their children and for the betterment of all society. So Lillian is preparing a message. So you can see that she has a real heart for justice. All right, next book is by Terri Wangard, and this is Seashells in My Pocket. And this is a World War II historical novel. And it's published by Scrivenings Press, and it's in paperback an ebook. And this, I think, released when? I think it released back in February. So no need, which means September 3rd means you can pre-order. If you pre-order, you'll probably get it by September 3rd. So it's important. Okay, so if you aren't familiar with Terri, this is my first book by Terri, and she did a great job. I enjoyed it. So Terri Wangard grew up in Green Bay, Wisconsin during the Lombardi glory years. Her first Girl Scout badge was the Writer. Holder of a bachelor's degree in history and master's degree in library science, she lives in Wisconsin. She can be frequently found in attendance at air shows, and that'll play a really important role. You can really tell in this book. An American transport pilot and a German-Brazilian woman must outwit an enemy saboteur in World War II, Brazil. Yes. It's interesting because, yes, World War I, World War II meant that there were other countries involved, and Brazil was one of them. German-Brazilian Isabel Newman delights in creating seashell art, but it's her mathematical ability that lands her a job at the American Air Base in Natal, northern Brazil during World War II. She doesn't need a calculator to determine the correct weights and balances for the Air Transport Command's cargo planes. Daniel Lambert, an American transport pilot based in Natal, endures the taunts of combat pilots that he is allergic to combat. His flying skills win him respect, however, and his friendship with Isabel deepens even as a new source of trouble looms. Isabel is caught in the crosshairs of a German saboteur who is obsessed with her. He insists that she belongs to him and demands that she help him sabotage the Allied base. Her growing relationship with Daniel angers the Nazis, who will do anything to get rid of him. What will happen to Isabel if the madman captures her? So apparently there was a German community in Brazil. So she was a member of that. Okay, Recife, Brazil. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Recife, Brazil, 1942. Mollusks possess such incredible artistic ability. Amazing that soft, slimy creatures could secrete the right elements to create such intricate, tough beauty as this. I learned a lot about seashells too, which was very interesting too. Page turner, very much a page turner. Okay. T.I. Lowe, Lowcountry Lost. I really do. My first book by T.I. was, what was it? Indigo Isle. It was so fascinating, and the story was just quirky. And if you've watched any of these episodes, you know me like a good quirky book with quirky characters, and definitely is in this one as well. So this is Women's Contemporary, and it is published by Tyndale. And it comes out, let's see. Oh, it came out, it comes out September 3rd. So pre-order. And a lot of times if you go to the Tyndale website, which I will have a link for it down in the description section, sometimes they'll have special deals that go on. So I usually always put the links to the publishers, usually always. It's an oxymoron. I try to give a link to the publisher's website because many times they'll have these special deals, special prices, little giveaways, things like that. So if you are not familiar with T.I. Lowe, she says she is just an ordinary country girl who loves to tell extraordinary stories. She is the author of 20 novels, including the best-selling Indigo Isle, the number one international bestseller and critically acclaimed Under the Magnolias, and her debut breakout, Lulu's Cafe. She lives with her husband and family in coastal South Carolina. All right. Sometimes what haunts you most is wondering what could have been. Avalee Elvis prides herself on being able to fix just about anything except her past. Unable to put the puzzle of her life together, she pours heart and soul into making neglected places whole again. So it's a combination of like Dr. Phil and HGTV, which love stuff like, that just ticks all the boxes for me. Avalee spends her days in hot pink Carhartt overalls and a tool belt reclaiming Lowcountry properties, making them beautiful again, releases the deep sigh that soothes the hurt she holds. Avalee's latest project takes her to tiny Somewhere, South Carolina. That's the name of the town, Somewhere. A long-abandoned town. She ignores its ghostly folklore, but can't miss the shock of hearing the familiar Irish brogue that materializes on the job site, the voice of the man she never wanted to see again. Rowan Murray is a structural engineer hired by investors to oversee the redevelopment of the quaint downtown Avalee is bringing back to life. Once upon a time, he was also the man who knew Avalee better than anyone else, or so he thought. Turns out he was wrong. Neither of them was prepared for what happened between them 6 years ago. But as they worked together to complete the rehabbing of Somewhere, their broken pieces and the pain that nearly consumed them begins to loose its grips, and both begin to wonder if it's not too late for a restoration of their own. So mystery, there's actually a mystery involved. I don't want to give away too much. It's like a mystery. It's like HGTV, and it's like you get into things that are really powerful. It also deals with miscarriages and infertility. So those are triggers for you. Just be aware. She handles it beautifully. And honestly, it's just so well done. And like I said, a good quirky story. Okay, prologue. And it's got a little map of the town. A ghost town is a once flourishing town, wholly or nearly deserted, usually as a result of the exhaustion of some natural resource. The landscape of North America is riddled with such places of abandonment. Buildings, streets, furniture, sentiments, hopes, dreams, all left behind without so much as a backwards glance. Oh, I have to read this too. Can a person be a ghost town? I believe I am. Okay. All right. Susan May Warren. Okay, this is book 3 of the Air One Rescue series. And I've actually had books 1 and 2 in my top picks as well. And Susan is just one of my go-tos. if you want adventure, and it's usually page one adventure, where you're going, Susan May Warren is your girl. So this is One Last Promise, and it focuses on Moose and Tilly, and I have been waiting for this book. So there's one more book in the series, and I'll have that in my top picks in a couple months. So excited. So it is contemporary fiction, contemporary romance, contemporary suspense, and it's published by Revell. And it came out earlier this month, so you can order it and get it right away. And I'll have a link below in the description section. All right, and I said Revell, right? Okay. All right, so here's a little bit about Susan and this book. Susan May Warren is the USA Today best-selling author of more than 90 novels with more than 1.5 million books sold, including the Global Search and Rescue and Montana Rescue series. Great series. Winner of a Rita Award and multiple Christie and Carol Awards, as well as the Holt Medallion and numerous Reader's Choice Awards. Susan makes her home in Minnesota. All right, here's a summary of this book. Waitress Tilly Young never thought her ex would track her to Alaska. When he kidnaps her daughter, she'll do anything to get her back, even enlist help from her favorite grumpy customer, pilot Arlo Moose Mulligan. It will take all of Moose's Alaskan savvy to keep them alive, but who is going to protect him from the love he never saw coming? She knows how to do romance, and it's not like kissy. I mean, there are kisses and longing and all that other good stuff, but there's so much adventure. It's like that she develops those characters so incredibly well. That's why I was looking forward to the book that focuses on Moose and Tilly, because she had just made them so interesting in books 1 and 2. All right, prologue. Let's start with this. It was time to tell London the truth. Shep sat with the Air One rescue team around a fire table on the deck of Moose's amazing log home overlooking the Knik River, listening to Oaken Fox strum his guitar as the Air One rescue team razzed Axel about his big appearance on Good Morning Alaska. So you just heard about several different characters who are included in these other books. It's one of the things I really like about Susan. You could finish the series, it's like, I'm going to miss these characters. Well, they can show up in other series. She's really great about that. So you feel like you never really lose touch with these great characters, which is cool. All right. Next is Target Acquired by Lynette Eason. And this is book 2 of the Lake City Heroes. And Lynette is a lot like Susan in that she is a regular go-to for suspense and mystery. And this one was Target Acquired. Don't you love that cover? I love that cover. Okay, so this is contemporary romantic suspense. Comes in paperback, ebook, audiobook, and hardback. And this came out, when did this come out? This came out last week. Yeah, this came out last week. So Lynette is one busy lady, and she actually is now a literary agent. Lynette Eason is the USA Today best-selling author of Double Take, as well as the Extreme Measures, Danger Never Sleeps, Blue Justice, Women of Justice, Deadly Reunions, Hidden Identity, and Elite Guardians series. She is the winner of 3 ACFW Carol Awards, the Selah Award, and the Inspirational Reader's Choice Award, among others. She is a graduate of the University of South Carolina and has a master's degree in education from Converse College. Eason lives in South Carolina with her husband. They have 2 adult children. All right, summary. Sparks fly as tough as nails. Kenzie King becomes the first female member of the Cole Garrison's SWAT team. But Kenzie soon puts a target on their backs, and neither of them knows who they can really trust as they race to find the killer. Mystery, suspense, thriller. You'll read that. You just prepared to be sitting in a comfortable place because you won't want to get up until you finish it. And it's great. She has the characters and their relations, which is very helpful when you have a big cast in a series. Okay, let's start with the prologue. Lake City State Hospital, Lake City, North Carolina, a branch of the Dorothea Dix Hospital, July 1947. Right. I forgot. This is a dual timeline, and I love dual timelines because you can have a mystery in both the historical and the contemporary. And then what's even greater is when they're pulled together and they are part of the solution to the mysteries of both timelines. So great. Is she coming today? Eliza Crane asked the nurse standing just inside the small room. Her name was Nurse Alice. Nurse Alice with no last name. She wore a white uniform with a white hat and white stockings and white shoes. Her expression was just as pale, and she looked every one of her confessed 43 years, especially sporting that gray streak down the side of her otherwise dark hair. There was no kindness in her green eyes, but no malice either. More of a weariness that Eliza could relate to. Please, is Betsy coming today? Yeah, it's a state hospital, a mental hospital. Okay, did I say Revell? It's published by Revell. Revell puts out some great books. Okay. Finally, Forever by Karin Beery. And this is a great book. This is my first book by Karin, and I really enjoyed it. And if you can guess, there might be a little salsa involved here. So this is published by Elk Lake Publishing, which is also my publisher. And this came out when? This came out a few months ago. So it's up for ordering. And it comes in paperback and ebook. So here's a little bit about Karin. I think Karin actually just won an award for one of her books. I can't remember if it was this one or it was another one. So author of hopeful fiction with a healthy dose of romance, Karin Beery lives in northern Michigan with her husband and pets. They drink too much decaf coffee, put up their Christmas tree the first weekend in November, and do their best to live every day for the Lord. Don't you love it? Okay, here's a little bit about the story. Former competitive dancer Caroline Novak dreams of leaving the corporate world to work with special needs women at the Pathways nonprofit, but the organization can't afford a full-time director. All-American defense end Ben Allen was on his way to the NFL when a knee injury sent him home into the same office as Caroline, his best friend's older sister. When Pathways participates in a Dancing with the Stars inspired fundraiser, Caroline quickly volunteers and Ben joins her as the local star. It doesn't take long for Ben to realize it's more than a dance competition, and Caroline is more than his best friend's sister. But after 2 failed engagements, Caroline is hesitant to trust her heart with another man. When the NFL calls Ben, it looks like his dream might finally come true, but it could cost them the championship and Carolyn her heart. All right. Chapter 1. The crisp manila folder taunted Caroline as she stepped into her office. She flipped on the light before setting her briefcase-sized purse on the floor. The leather chair squeaked under her weight as she picked up the file. Orientation. Into the world of Dances with the Stars. Okay, Rachel Hauck. I love Rachel. And this is Meet Me at the Starlight. And, okay, it's another quirky, unique story that is very Frank Capra-esque. And it's just delicious with mystery and all sorts of yummy character development. Rachel, I love this. I mean, anything that's about a skating rink, that's pretty cool, don't you think? Yeah, okay. So this is published by Bethany House Publishers, and it came out in the first part of July, so that means you can order it, and the link is down below in the description section. So considered contemporary romance, but it's kind of not. It's kind of historical too. It's kind of dual timeline. It's like I said, it's really unique. It's such a good book. It's just like if you could eat it, you would eat it. And it wouldn't even need chocolate sauce. It's just so good. And this comes in paperback, ebook, audiobook, and hardback. All right. And if you're not, for some reason, familiar with Rachel, here's a little bit about her. Rachel Hauck is an award-winning New York Times, USA Today, and Wall Street Journal best-selling author. She is a double Rita finalist and a Christie and Carol Award winner. Her book, Once Upon a Prince, first in the Royal Wedding series, was filmed for an original Hallmark movie. A graduate of Ohio State, Rachel lives in sunny Central Florida with her husband and Henri cat. Okay. All right. Here's the summary. Harlow Hayes came to Sea Blue Beach, Florida, to hide and heal. Instead, she finds a former co-star with a ruined career and his plucky grandmother who runs the local landmark skating rink. The place has a kind of magic, but when it's threatened for demolition, saving the Starlight might be the second chance everyone needs. I love the grandmother. And it's great because we have her story in there too. That's part of the historical part. Okay. Tuesday, June 1932, Sea Blue Beach, Florida. The sight of the Starlight just on the edge of her kitchen window, eased her lingering regret over her fight with Leroy last week. Even though she deserved an answer, she hated his pained expression as she called him a scallywag, declaring how he led her and the boys down. I've never been more disappointed. Where do you go each week? Tell me now. More disappointed? Those words were not true. Tuesday night had been disappointed plenty in her life. Leroy was the least of them all. Yummy, 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 yummy. Okay, that was book 7. And I mean, these are some great books, guys. One or all, 2 or all, 3 or all would just be a wonderful addition to your reading library. I'm getting all sorts of text. Okay, so that's it for this month. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you'll find something wonderful that will be so delightful to you. Thanks again. I'll see you next month, and I've already started reading those books as well. Great books. Okay, so in the meantime, God bless and keep reading.